So we are now in lesson 3. And lesson 3 is where we want to talk a bit about attunement and what that means. So we started off, and we're still in our love mapping, right? We're still trying to update or start to create and learn our partners, like in our world, their stresses, their favorites, their likes, their dislikes, right? We're trying to understand that. Part of that is not just sitting down and having these rituals of like, here's my list of questions, and which is very, homework like. It doesn't come out in the everyday. So how do we put this into our everyday life? Is that we want to strive to be as attuned to our partner as we can, and more so attuned to them emotionally, right? What's going on with them? If we have no love mapping happening or updating of these love maps, and again, maybe this marriage is 10 years old, and we haven't updated since we started dating, and now we have 2 kids, 2 stressful jobs, a very expensive mortgage, 3 dogs, and 2 cars, and probably a cabin somewhere. So we have increased our responsibilities, our stress, our income output, all of these things. So our life is in a very different place than it was. And if we haven't updated those, I can guarantee many of the things we thought, felt, believed, saw, whatever, are shifted to some degree. So if we don't even know that, that's number one, a problem. It is going to be really hard to be attuned to our partner on the everyday. So if I am doing my due diligence and I'm updating my love maps with relative frequency, right? I'm doing maybe monthly check-ins, just checking in with my partner, or, kind of when I see something that maybe seems different, or something I haven't asked about, or he started a new job or some new transition, he lost his father. Like, where can I start, talking to him and updating some of those love maps? Because when we have like any transition, sometimes things shift and change. So if I'm doing my due diligence again on love mapping, then I'm going to feel more comfortable in my everyday interaction and in checking in with my partner's emotional state as well. So again, not just how was your day, but like, I ask way more open-ended questions. So I know you had a very challenging day full of meetings, interviews. I think you had to fire somebody, or maybe you're a doctor and you had a tough procedure, or you just got off a very long shift. It's important that I am attuned to you. So if I already know kind of bigger picture through the love mapping of things that stress you out, and I've been checking in on that when you come home, because I know you had this day, whatever this day was, I know you had this day coming, so that when you come home, it isn't just how was your day, it's like, okay, how did that meeting go that you were really nervous about? How did you feel about the way you wanted to show up today? Who surprised you the most? And any of these interactions that you had today, how are you feeling now? What do you need now? How can I be supportive right now? So I'm attuned. So let's say I didn't have time because like I said, we have those kids and dogs and busy lives. So I didn't have time to check in about how that hard day was. But I still know that there was a hard day. And I don't have time to interact because we're starting on the evening now. And I hear my husband working on homework, and I'm hearing a agitated maybe tone. And I'm starting to get, I don't like when he talks to the kids like that. I can talk to them like that, but I don't like when he talks to them like that. So I'm starting to maybe get wound up. But then I go, oh, he had that day today, and I haven't even had a chance to check in. So I don't know. It could have been, he just might be just done. It might have gone bad. Probably not going great, right? Because I'm hearing that tone. And maybe the way he came in and didn't get greeted is a part of that, right? Because everybody was doing their own thing. So there wasn't this big acknowledgement as this human entered back into our life. So there are all these things that can get in our way. And if we are not attuned and we are just assuming everything our partner says, does, thinks, feels, acts, reacts is based upon us, it has nothing to do with the other bazillion hours in the day that there might be somewhere else, we are not attuned. We do not know what is going on in our partner's world. Even if they don't go off to work, even if home is work, home is where we work sometimes. Home might be, actually, I work from home, make an income, or I work from home and I'm not being paid because I'm doing the hardest job in the world and not being paid for it. And that is being a stay-at-home parent. So I don't just have to leave. Maybe my day was hard because I was here. Maybe I am bored and I'm just, right? If my partner knows, if I've been like, hey, I'm this work from home thing is starting to get to me and I'm going to start to be looking for something soon. And then I am kind of, and he's like, she's bored. I got to get her out of here. Because he's attuned to me. If he wasn't attuned to me, he might take, I need to get out of here. I need to go do something as I don't want to be around you. I don't like you. You're bothering me. I just want to get out of here. I don't want to be helpful. I don't want to do our life together. I mean, there's so many things that can come when we are not attuned and we start making assumptions. So if we just jump back again, we stay more in attunement emotionally with our partner when we are being very consistent with our love mapping and we're checking our assumptions and we're getting clarity and we're asking questions. And then we're seeing those questions as a way for our partner to learn more about us and connect with us and show interest in us and help create and build and strengthen that foundation. Then yeah, I'm going to answer those questions. And I'm not going to be mad. It's okay if you don't know. I don't know everything either. I'm not a very good gift giver, right? All the things that I want my partner to be, I'm not always very good at those things. I could probably be better, maybe more thoughtful, not necessarily better. By being more attuned, more present, less distracted. That's the other thing. When we remove the distractions, we have the ability to be more attuned. We can see something and instead of ignoring it because whatever, something's going on with my partner. She seems sad. She seems stressed. She seems concerned. And I remember listening to Dr. Gottman speak once, and he gives this example of when he was reading a book, good book, and he saw his wife brushing her hair, and she sighed. Right? And he heard it, and he had a choice. I don't need to respond to that. I'm enjoying my book. If it's bothering her, she'll come to me. Or I can put down my book. I could go over and I could see what is wrong. I could take the brush from her hand. I could start brushing her hair. What's going on? What a difference. I want to be attuned. I want to know what's going on with you. I want to feel more connected with you. I need to remove more distractions. I need to be more present. And I need to recognize when I go to assumption. Again, I get out of assumption by asking questions and getting clarity, which helps me be more attuned, especially emotionally. Because when we come home and our partner is having an emotional experience of something going on and we are not attuned and we are in this more self-ego space of it's got to be about me instead of what's going on with them. How do I check in and be sure that everything is going on? How do I be sure that they're okay? That'd be great. They're okay. Or if they're not, what do they need from me? How can I provide them with some support, whatever that support might be? The more attuned I am, the more this just kind of happens. It's like, oh, I don't know about that day. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give some grace here. I'm going to step in where I can. My partner's going to feel like, you know what? It's okay if I show up like this. I'm going to reset. I'm not being yelled at for it. I'm not being told not to feel it. I'm being supported right now. I'm being understood. I'm being seen. That helps me kind of drop down. Okay. Here is safe. Right here, people respect my feelings and my needs. I feel as though my partner knows where I am and is helping me when they need to. And if they don't know, they're asking. They're checking in, right? Because it could be and I am someone who likely sets the tone often of our home, and that is something I work on and am aware of, and try not to be the tone setter. But when my partner is attuned to me and also attuned to the fact that I can't be the tone setter, they're checking in, and they're also recognizing I don't need to let her be the tone setter. We can let her do her thing. We don't need to go into that. And we know why she's at, and we're not taking it personally, and we're not asking from her, and we know she needs the space right now. We are attuned to each other's emotional well-being, because that helps us be a more compassionate partner. And hopefully when we get into a conflict place, that it allows us to listen, to understand, because we're attuned. We know that it isn't just about me, us, kids. We're tuned to the whole inner workings, right? We are tuned and we know the love maps, which helps us be a better partner and respond to our partner in the ways in which they need us to. So I really just want you to spend time thinking about, what would it look like if I were more attuned to my partner? And what would it look like if my partner were more attuned to me? And how do we get there? How can we be more intentional about attunement? And maybe what's in the way? Is there anything in the way? What do we get out of not being attuned? What's our secondary gain, right? Meaning, what are we getting from this? Even if the end of it all isn't very functional or healthy, we still get something from it. What would you need to give up, if anything? So just spend some time free writing on this assignment of what that might look like. And then check in with your partner, because what you might think of how I could be more attuned might not be what your partner thinks would be helpful for them. So compare and see what you come up with. Where's their alignment, right? And then start working on that. Just thinking in your head, am I attuned? Do I know? And if I don't know, should I ask? Is that going to help? So if I know my partner's feeling stressed and overwhelmed because of all the things they have to do in the next few days, and they're a little bit short, okay, got a lot going on. And where can I help? Not even this. I'll say this, because I've talked a lot about questions. So yes, you could ask, how can I help? But think about that question. It doesn't show a lot of attunement. I know we got a lot going on this week. And I know that you typically tend to do all of the laundry. Would it be helpful if I did that this week? Or would it be helpful if I took the kids to school this week? The role division we have right now is that the opposite is true. You know, that's a better question versus how can I help? Because how can I help doesn't show me that you know what the fuck is going on in our life. I see that you're doing this a lot. Could I take that off your plate? Do you maybe need to say, do we need to look at our role division? Because I'm seeing what seems like overwhelm, right? Not how can I help, because how can I help further shows us that attunement isn't there. But specifically, do you see what your partner's doing and what they could use help with? So spend some time with this. This is a good one. And I also, again, like always, want you to spend some time in reflection and in conversation with one another, and then take notes of things that become hard, right? I want you to recognize which parts of the house and what parts within the levels might be more challenging. So we, if and when we ever work together, we can dig into that a little bit more. All right. Enjoy.